Well, good Wednesday morning, friends. Mark Holtz here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, as well as Joe Bear in the house. And as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. So let's get open for business here. Let's wake up the football gods here early on this hump day. Oh, my goodness. I've got to go down the road, got to take care of a maintenance issue down the country. So I'm going to be on the road here in a few minutes before it's about 6 a.m. right now. And man, oh man, oh man, oh man. How cool is it that here it is, divisional round, with the worst division in football, the NFC least, as they called the NFC East, that the Dallas Cowboys, the New York stinking Giants, and the Philadelphia Eagles are all playing. 3 of the 4 teams from the NFC East are knee-deep in the playoffs.
Playoffs? Don't talk about
Oh, we can talk about playoffs now. We can talk about playoffs. It's kind of cool because this weekend is literally going to be heaven for playoffs. Because, you know, we've had, since this channel's been here, we've had the Eagles go to the Super Bowl. That's the only channel. I mean, it's the only team since I've had Joe Boo that has gone to the Super Bowl, where we've been watching and watching and watching, and, you know, we don't have a dog in the fight. Usually we're all looking at who's going to get fired from our coaching staff, you know, what free agents, what off-season surgeries are we going to have? Right, Rio? Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, Rio. I'm sorry. You're knee-deep in the off-season. But in all seriousness, it's going to be great to see the Eagles and the Giants on Saturday, meaningful game to us, as well as ourselves playing against the San Francisco 49ers. Today, of course, the Cowboys get back on the practice field after having their day off, their day of rest from the Monday night game. Fortunately, the Cowboys came through the game pretty good. Jaron Kearse has a sprained MCL, but he should be okay to play this weekend. You know, the thing about football is at this point in the season, everybody is beat up. Everybody is injured. It's just how severe. It's not so much who's healthier. It's really who's injured the least. And we have to give praise to these Cowboys, these modern-day gladiators, for what they do to their bodies, as evident as we've seen in bits and pieces where players are taken off of the field in stretchers. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers player, he got out of the hospital, has a concussion, but no neck injury whatsoever. So thank goodness for that. But the Cowboys were getting back on the practice field today. And the thing that's kind of amazing is, for the team, we killed Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones because we kept looking at all the, you know, in the offseason, when you lost like we did in the playoffs and stuff, you've got, first thing, you've got the franchise tag, which happens, and then you've got, you know, at the end of February, then you got free agency that's in, you know, middle of March and stuff. And, you know, we were disappointed at the end of the season and stuff. And then we see all these teams getting all their shiny new pieces and things, and the excitement and everybody, oh, look at Denver. They've traded for Russell Wilson. They got, you know, Randy Gregory from the Cowboys, and, you know, Buffalo gets Von Miller, and, you know, you just see all these pieces, and A.J. Brown going to the Eagles. And, you know, you hear about the Cowboys. We signed James Washington. James Washington, mind you, who signed with the Giants, too. So shout out to James Washington, the unicorn. Maybe we'll see him in a New York stinking Giant uniform playing this weekend. And shout out to Jalen Smith, who's actually playing well for the Giants as well. But we went through that whole thing of free agency and, you know, free agency disappointment like we do every year. But you start looking now at the Cowboys here in the end. There's so many free agent pieces that we've gotten that didn't make the big splash, that didn't make the headlines. You know, you look at T.Y. Hilton getting 2 catches this past game. You look at Hankins, who we signed in the middle of the season as well, who was making some big tackles in the middle of the field in the running game, stopping the run. You look at Xavier Rhodes, who we just signed like a week ago, out there on the field, a little tired, but out there on the field covering, some really good receivers going against a Hall of Fame quarterback. You start to look at this, and Jason Peters, who we signed as an emergency guy as well, that these guys, these free agent pieces, have really supplemented what we do and are so important right now going down the stretch. Seeing Jason Peters, who's 40 years old, pulling and getting in the way of a guy and making that cornerback who didn't want to get none of that have to go around the outside for big plays. And you look at this and say, wow, the Cowboys really did a great job of the draft. Not perfect, but nobody is. And free agents and getting this team together. And you have to feel excited about this weekend. I don't know what's going to happen against San Francisco. I don't know if we should believe the hype that is that the 49ers are really that great a team. Great defense, great offense, and Brock Purdy. I watched Brock Purdy's game last week, and I said, thank God his wide receivers are wide the hell open, because the ball placement on some of his passes was not good. I didn't look at that and say that, he's the next Joe Montana going against the Seattle Seahawks. If the Cowboys can put the pressure on Brock Purdy that flustered a Hall of Fame quarterback, I think that they can actually do some damage. I'm not sure that the San Francisco's competition with Brock Purdy playing has been enough to be able to get to Brock Purdy. When we think about, I can't remember how many games he started, but let's just go from December 15th against the Seahawks. I don't think the Seahawks have the horsepower to go after him. The Commanders, that is actually a good defensive front. They did score 37 against them. But the Raiders, the Cardinals, I don't know that they're going to be able to, that the teams that he's faced are going to put on the amount of pressure that the Cowboys can come to bear. Maybe I'm wrong. I hope that I'm not. But I think if the Cowboys can do what they did this past Sunday, be it against an offensive line that has been beat up and decimated, but I still don't think anybody's done that to Tom Brady. Let's listen to him before I get on the road. Michael Irvin on Rich Eisen's show, and see how excited he is.
Joining us here on the Rich Eisen Show is a man who's no doubt very, very happy today. My Pro Football Hall of Fame friend from NFL Game Day Morning and More, Michael Irvin. How are you, Irv?
Man, I'm doing great, Rich. I'm getting out the car right now in New York.
Okay.
Running across the street.
Okay.
Right.
Careful.
Trying to get me some breakfast. I just landed in New York from last night. So now I got to head over and shoot inside the NFL. But, man, I feel great. I feel great. It was a great win yesterday. A great win. Great first battle to get that playoff juices going, man, and to get that victory. It was just fun. Incredible night.
So what do you think clicked? What do you got for me on that front? What do you think clicked?
Well, first of all, we all knew. Reality clicked. We all knew, and that's why I kept saying I want Tom, we want Tom. We want to see something great, but that offense had given us anything great all year. So I expected more of the same. And on the other side, I know we focused. I know we beat it down on all of the interceptions that Dak Prescott had put up. But he had also been putting up 30 points. I kept telling people this.
Yes, you did.
A game. I kept saying this now, and it fell out just like I thought. We still got those 30, and the Buccaneers didn't get many.
Well, I mean, in terms of that, Irv, I do have to give you credit. I did at the top of the show as well. You said we want Tom, and what you ended up getting was Tom Brady that we saw all this year, and the Cowboys picked everyone apart. I mean, from the first snap when Micah Parsons wasn't blocked and jumped into the backfield and blew up the first snap of the game, and then all the way through to I guess. He was trying to throw it away in the end zone with that interception. I mean, the defense looked terrific last night, Michael. Terrific.
Yeah, they did. And they put pressure on Tom. You know, there were a couple of times you saw Tom and you saw Tom kind of just do a little ducking and chucking there, just getting rid of that ball. So I mean, they got in his comfort zone and made him uncomfortable. And that's what we needed to do. And remember, we hadn't been doing much of that lately. You know, we're complaining about that finger-licking good pass rush that wasn't so finger-licking good the last couple of weeks. But last night, they got back on point, and that was great to see.
So, Michael Irvin here on the Rich Eisen Show. A few minutes with him as he runs to go do Inside the NFL to no doubt talk about this and the rest of Super Wild Card Weekend. And then, so when you saw the Cowboys last night do what? That's when you knew it was all good. What was the first time where you're like, okay, I think we got this? When was that for you?
Wait, when I saw the Cowboys do what?
Just give me a moment last night in the game where you saw something where you're like, okay, I think we're good. We're good tonight because it was a slow start.
Right. Because at first I was like, oh God, that first series, oh no, not that.
Right.
Yeah. I said not this. But then, bam, we came back. And I saw it settling in. And I always go back, I tell you, Rich, to when we were a lesser talent team and we were playing Washington. And they were good. And that's when I'll never forget Wilbur Marshall saying that. We were playing them, and we were playing them good early on in the game. Everybody was panicking. Wilbur Marshall told his defense, everybody just calm down. They're really not this good. They're just hype. As soon as the hype goes down, we'll commence to whooping ASS. And that's exactly what they did. I was saying, hey, I was just a rookie. Said, how you going to just call this hype? What is that? But he was right. And at first, Tampa was hype. So they were battling that thing for a minute. But then the talent took over, and they commenced to whooping on them.
So what breakfast are you getting right now, Michael? Can we help you order? What do we got here?
What I pick up is just some chicken noodle soup.
Oh.
Give me an egg sandwich and some chicken noodle soup. And hey, baby, I'm ready. I'm ready to go. Straight from the game, early flight this morning, land in New York after hanging out. I just posted a picture hanging out with the family,
there you go.
Family.
Yes. He's enjoying
we saw
it.
that.
Nice.
We saw that. The ESPN cameras called that. First of all, you know what they call chicken soup in my household, Michael? It's called Jewish penicillin. That's what it's called.
Chicken noodle soup.
Chicken noodle soup is some Jewish penicillin.
It's the best stuff in the world.
Oh, okay. Please. And plus, it did sound like you were screaming and celebrating and hooting and hollering with the Jones family last night, Michael.
You better believe it. I got to warm it all back up and get ready to go shoot inside the NFL.
So
yeah, absolutely. We had a great time.
What was that like? What was that like in there? Put me in your shoes when you walk in the Jones suite in a playoff win. By the way, the first road playoff win for the Cowboys since your 1992 NFC Championship game win on the way to your first of 3 Super Bowls. That was the last time that you went on the road. What was that like, Michael?
Yeah, Rich. He brought all that up. We talked about all of that because they were talking about how they had watched us shoot first take over there. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because we watched you first. So first of all, I go to the Queen. When I see her, I go in, see everybody. You go straight to the Queen.
And you're not talking about obviously of England. She's passed. You're talking about Mrs. Jones is what you're talking about.
Yes, man.
Okay.
Yeah. You go straight to the Queen.
Okay, very good.
Hey, homage. How you doing, man? Because she's the most beautiful person in the world. I mean, really,
Understood.
the most beautiful person in the world.
Yes.
And then I look up. I said, wait a minute. It's too quiet in here. We are too quiet. And then everybody goes crazy, So we had so much fun, man. It's just fun. Because they talked about it. We watched the show all day. And, the Queen, Miss Jones, said, Baby, thank you, Father. They're battling for us. We got a battle for you, too. I said, yes, you do, Mom. Kissed her right there like that. You know what I'm saying? Because I love her like that.
I love it. All right, and the couple minutes I have left with you here, Michael Irvin. Let's turn the page here. Do you think the Cowboys, that was such a pressure-packed week, and the way that they've played the last month or so, that they came in and put that spanking on the Bucs, that this is a house money situation now going into San Francisco, or the fact that they haven't been to the NFC Championship game since you and Troy and Emmett went in your last Super Bowl, that there's still that pressure cooker that we're talking about here, or something has been relieved, do you think, Michael? What do you got?
Well, it's a little bit of both. A little bit of both, Rich.
Okay.
Something has been relieved because, as you just mentioned, you hadn't won a playoff game in 30 years. Well, come on, man. Tom Brady had as many playoff wins as you had. Come on, man. Every time I go on a show, somebody want to talk about something you hadn't done in 30 years. So you put some of that on the back burner. But you also know that you got plenty of business still ahead of you. And plenty of things to get accomplished, especially with what you're facing right now and that beast they got going in San Francisco.
Mm-hmm. So what's your key? Just your first blush key as you're crossing the street in New York, Michael. What do you got for me?
My first blush key of that game, that San Fran game, is I'm scared. All that mess y'all was saying on the show Sunday, man, you're scared, you're nervous. I wasn't scared or nervous about Tampa. This week, it's applicable.
Yeah. So what scares you the most? Is it Debo? Because he could just flip a field and he's so physical, and I know you love physical. Is it McCaffrey? What do you got?
Right. But
defense?
The whole thing that they bring now, especially Debo being back, because it brings a certain physicalness to that offense. And without Debo and Chris McCaffrey, you still do some winning and everything. But Debo brings a physicalness to it, that you should. And remember, when I got Michael Parsons on my podcast after that San Fran game. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, he told me he was sore for 2 weeks after that game, and it taught him something. I can't wait to see how he responds to what it taught him last year, now facing this team again.
I think as we wrap up here, Michael, you just hit on something that I love about this matchup. It's not only because of what San Francisco did this year and what's going on with Purdy and what's going on with this team all year long, and the same thing, the journey this year. But obviously, these are the two teams that faced each other last year, one and done. The Cowboys and the whole business of spotting the football and not knowing to give it to the umpire to spot and to lose without even getting off a snap and having that lead to this moment. And then there's also the history that you have with the 49ers and the Cowboys and 49ers. I mean, I was there, Michael, in that championship game that the 49ers finally got past you. And I'm wondering what your memories are. What flows on you when you think of your days in Candlestick or they in Texas Stadium?
The first thing that you just brought up, they hadn't won a whole road playoff game in 30 years, mm-hmm. and they won that game to go back to where the last game was played 30 years ago. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Going back to San Francisco. So mm-hmm. I'm okay with this, man. I wanted another route. I really did. Mm-hmm. I wanted another route. I don't know if I ever could have played it out well. I saw one of them. But obviously, I'm going to have to go through two of them. And maybe not two of them. Now, I'm talking about San Fran and Philly.
Right.
Because if Daniel Jones do that Daniel Boone thing again like he did last week, oh, my God. Maybe we have a championship game in Dallas if Dallas can pull off this miracle.
Well, I thought, again, I was there that championship day in Candlestick, and, I guess we're going to have to bring up whether Dion interfered with you or not on that day, Irv. That we have to bridge that one up one more time. I think this week.
Well, that's 94. That's 94.
That's right. Yeah.
That was the last one.
That's
that
right.
was the last one there.
I was there that day.
Yeah.
All right.
And what the one you were talking about was 92, the first one.
Right, exactly. But 94, he interfered with you? That happened? The coach of Colorado?
Yeah.
Of course.
I should have been undefeated up there. Because Dion didn't get away with that pass interference.
He swears that was just excellent coverage, Michael. That's what he swears.
There you go. All right, we're going to have to get up out of here because I got to hit the road, but I was doing some research, and I've got actually something that's really kind of interesting on Brock Purdy. Yeah, definitely. I'll be talking about that on the road here because I'll have my wife, my wonderful bride, do some more research for me. You know, I come up with ideas and I'm constantly, I may be doing one thing right now, but I'm working on 2 steps down the road. And that's what you need to do in life. If you're dealing with the situation that's happening right now, you're behind the curve. You need to think a couple of steps ahead. In the meantime, we're going to get up out of here and I will see you guys later.
Our coach here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe for the Sports Report.
You did one hell of a job, and the only thing else I got to